Hi, I'm Savannah.
And I'm Abby, and welcome to our presentation on repetitive framing in film. Specifically, we're going to talk about the induction of engagement and emotional connections by revealing space.
Our FINIC project revolves around the evolution of two individual spaces from various camera perspectives across In the Mood for Love and Tokyo Story. As French philosopher Merleau-Ponty defined, abstract movement carves out within the plenum of the world in which concrete movement took place a zone of reflection and subjectivity. It superimposes upon physical space a virtual or human space. Physical space, therefore, can attain the effect of a human or emotional space when developed through spatiality.
To represent this, the following alleyway outside of the characters' apartments was chosen from In the Mood for Love. Through this compiled set of photos, it can be seen that the film revisits perspectives and locations in a way that provides different context and time, such as night and day, elements such as clear or rainy, and emotional memories such as joy or sadness within the space.
In this scene from Tokyo Story, Kyoki and his wife had just been given the information that his mother had passed. This scene of reference is a room within their home and is unraveled by the use of slow movement of characters through the space, away from the camera, which is only a few feet off the ground. As Kyoki moves farther away, the frames become smaller because of the dimensionality outlined through time and space.
Spatiality, which develops these locations, refers to the movement within space, the construction of horizons and reference points. Eidos is the Greek expression of the essence or character of a space.
Schemata bridges these two concepts through the introduction of organized packets of information. In the two movies studied here, the audience is presented with information in a guided and comfortable manner that encourages daydreaming and reflection.
The first of our two movies is In the Mood for Love, directed by Wong Kar-wai, as can be seen from this little clip on the right. The film is set in 1960s urban Hong Kong and addresses themes of social constraints and conflicted love. The location, which we will refer to as the character's practice hallway, is first introduced as an enclosed hallway with a series of barred windows, as shown through the 5 frames on the right. These camera angles reveal specific details as indicated by the camera locations on the map in hot pink.
The same evolution was captured in our chosen location at Laddie F. Core Hall, where we filmed our final movie. We captured details of the bars using the railings on the northern side of the breezeway and used the concrete seating as a replacement for the columns. The concrete walls provided the same texture identified in the first series of frames.
This second series of frames is taken from another scene captured within the final movie. Here, the perspectives reveal that the enclosed hallway is truly an exposed alleyway, as seen from this shot close to Mrs. Chan's face. The evolution from an intimate enclosed space to an open and revealing alleyway identifies how the characters have moved from a false pretend relationship to genuinely and really falling in love. We replicated this through the architecture of Coors Hall as shown below. Matching the tight camera frame close to the wall as Mrs. Chan cries into Mrs. Chow matches the intimacy of the scene and makes the space feel personal, almost confidential. Our shooting in Coors Hall attempts that same enclosed feeling, even as we shoot in an open and public area.
The second film presented in our final movie was Tokyo Story, directed by Ozu. The story follows two aging parents who travel to see their busy children in Tokyo. The location chosen from this movie is the interior of the eldest son's home in Tokyo. Ozu notoriously placed his cameras as if they were at eye level of objects sitting within the home.
These are clips from inside and out of the Interdisciplinary Science and Technology Building 2, located on South McAllister Avenue on the ASU campus. This is where scenes from the remake were filmed for the Tokyo Story portions of the short film. This location was utilized due to its many corridors, busy walls, and long walkways.
The Shadowbox animation identified how changing perspectives can present new schemata to the audience. The same concept is apparent in the compiled frames here. The camera is located in the same place, but views the space from different angles. From this, the architectural space is warped and imbued with the emotions of the characters as they move. The remake is just as dramatic as the original version and is created in the likeness of staying true to different frame sizing and the characters move through space. A stylistic choice in this was to not focus on the light of the outdoors until he had reached that point, to make it even more dramatic and draw emotion from natural circumstances.
The same focus on aesthetics, dramatism, and similarities is reflected in the movie analysis of In the Mood for Love. This series of combined frames identifies how different camera perspectives, even when the camera is located at the same origin, can develop both the space and the characters, warping the original intent. Notice the camera height in the section drawing of the first frame of the sequence. It will remain at this position for the entirety of the scene. The camera is capturing the whole picture, but the space between Koichi and Fumiko tells different stories. Koichi is further away from the camera with his back to her, and she seems smaller because he was within a different frame, whereas Fumiko is closer to the entrance and camera in a wide open and taller space.
Once Fumiko left the scene, the frame of reference became Kyoki in relation to the wall height he was standing within. This better represents how Fumiko's absence in space and the development of depth from Kyoki's distance creates a bigger picture even though the camera has not moved. This depth was replicated in ITBS2 as the extrusions from the walls acted as different frames as he passed through them. The more walls that are revealed to the audience, the more information the viewer has to infer why Kyoki occupies the space in the manner that he does. The progression of layers of walls and his movement through them indicates a clear line of vision from the camera point to the window at the end where Kyoki is heading.
Kyoki arrives at the edge of the windowsill, standing still and looking small. Jackson arrives at the end of the hallway, standing still and looking small. The frame of the window and the distance from the camera makes this so.
The proposal for this final movie focused on using a series of frames to capture a single location in each movie from a variety of perspectives using the ASU campus. Our original proposal stated, using repetitive shots that reveal schemata over time, in our final film, we will attempt to establish the essence of a space in the context of Tempe. Analyzing scenes across multiple movies, we will focus on a series of frames that will capture a single location from a variety of perspectives. Each camera angle will explore how the movement of characters develops a human space in conjunction with physical space. Through this process, we intend to identify how the evolution of a physical space simultaneously encourages emotional connections and engagement with the narrative.
We believe we achieve this evolution of physical space by replicating In the Mood for Love and Tokyo Story at the Latiev Course Hall and Interdisciplinary Sciences and Technologies Building 2. Here, camera shots were recreated to identify how the evolution of a physical space simultaneously encourages emotional connections and engagement with the narrative.
Locations were successfully recreated frame by frame with proper movement and oriented horizons. Schemata was revealed by the same camera perspectives as the original films in relation to architecture. The same aesthetic designs were upheld throughout the new compiled film.
Thank you for listening to our presentation on repetitive framing in film. Listed here are the references used throughout the slides. And thank you.
Thank you.